try, or is it the clothes you wear? You're always window shopping, but never stopping to buy. So shed those dowdy feathers and fly a little bit. Hey there, Georgie girl, there's another Georgie deep inside. Bring out all the love you hide, and oh, what a change there'd be. The world would see a new Georgie girl. Someone you could be. Life is a reality, you can't always run away.
The Seekers and Georgie Girl, and that's it for another Sounds of the 60s. If you missed any of the show, it will be available on the wonderful BBC Sounds app a little bit later on. I'll be back with you at 7 o'clock on Friday for the Golden Hour, and another Sound of the 60s on Saturday morning. From me, Tony Blackburn, have a wonderful weekend, won't you? Enjoy yourself. See you soon. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker, and on 88 to 91 FM. Bye-bye.
BBC News at 8 o'clock on Saturday, the 21st of May. Good morning. This is Harvey Cook. Rail industry bosses are drawing up plans to keep trains operating as unions warn they're preparing the biggest strike in modern history. The civil servant in charge of the report on Downing Street lockdown parties has met Boris Johnson to discuss publishing photos of the gatherings. And pharmacists have been given more flexibility to try to ease the shortage of HRT medicines. Emergency plans are being drawn up to make sure some passenger and freight services can still run if railway workers go on strike this summer. The RMT union has claimed it could launch the biggest industrial action in modern history and bring the UK to a standstill. Here's our transport correspondent, Katie Austin.
The rail industry is under pressure to cut costs following the unprecedented financial impact of the pandemic. 40,000 RMT members at 15 train operating companies and at Network Rail are being balloted as to whether to take strike action over pay, conditions and planned job cuts. The ballot closes on Tuesday. If signalling staff walk out, not only could there be severe disruption for passengers, but to freight too, including services carrying fuel and food.
BBC News has been told that the civil servant investigating lockdown parties at Downing Street met Boris Johnson to discuss publishing photos of the gatherings in her final report. Labour has suggested the meeting could damage confidence in the process. Our political correspondent Jonathan Blake has more.
We're told this meeting happened about a month ago, and Downing Street stressing that it was at Sue Gray's request. And as a senior Downing Street source put it to us, the meeting was held to clarify her intentions around the publication of her report once the Metropolitan Police investigation had finished. We expect the report to be published early in the coming week. Those who are going to be named have been told and given a warning. They now have an opportunity to respond, and they have a deadline of 5 o'clock on Sunday to do that.
Survivors of the Manchester Arena bombing have called for major improvements to mental health support for those affected by terrorist attacks. Tomorrow marks the 5th anniversary of the murders of 22 people and the wounding of many more at an Ariana Grande concert. A report from the group Survivors Against Terror recommends that initial help may be made available within 3 weeks and treatment within 6. Adam Lawler's friend was killed in the Manchester attack and both his legs were broken.
You slowly go through your injuries and you realise the extent of the pain and the things that have happened to you. And I think the memories from that night will haunt me and stay with me forever and ultimately change me as a person completely.
Ministers say they're committed to providing swift support. The Foreign Secretary says she wants to see Ukraine's neighbour Moldova armed with NATO-standard military equipment to guard against potential Russian aggression. Liz Truss has told the Daily Telegraph that discussions are taking place to make sure that Moldova, which isn't a NATO member, has the defences to deter any future attack. Jack Watling, a senior research fellow at the Royal United Services Institute, says it's sensible to start thinking about arming Moldova in the near future.
It takes time to build up appropriate capabilities. And so making sure that Moldova can stand on its own 2 feet is sensible, given that Russia has publicly indicated it has designs on the country, and that will take time. It's worth doing that while you have the time to do it properly, rather than coming to the problem when the threat is very acute.
Pharmacists are being given more flexibility to deal with shortages of certain HRT medicines. They will temporarily be able to offer alternatives if they can't track down the exact drug that's been prescribed for the patient. Here's our health correspondent, Catherine Burns.
For the last few months, there have been shortages of certain HRT medicines in the UK. The government set up a task force to deal with it and is now giving pharmacists a new power to try to ease the problem. Normally, if chemists can't track down a medicine on a prescription, the patient has to go back to their GP and ask for something else to be prescribed instead. But for the next few months, if pharmacists can't get hold of 4 certain HRT drugs, they can offer the patient a suitable, specific alternative instead.
The American funk and jazz musician Bernard Wright has died at the age of 58. Reports suggest he was in a road accident in Dallas. Bernard Wright played with some of the biggest names, including Miles Davis. He also had a major US hit in 1985 with the song Who Do You Love?
Girl, I'm in love with you. Sure as the sky is blue. Just let me prove to you. Yes, girl, my love is true. Girl, I'm in love with you.
Bernard Wright, who's died at the age of 58. And Saturday's weather, sunny spells in southern areas and showers in the northwest. Top temperatures of 14 Celsius in Edinburgh, 15 in Belfast, 17 in Cardiff and 21 in London. And that's the BBC News at exactly 8:05.
OJ Forge.